Hello, my lovelies. It is time for another round of Better Book It. So stay tuned. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Better Book It is one of my multiple TBR games that I play. But the way this one works is I created a board game. And it looks like so. And we're going to roll the dice and pick a book based on whatever I land on. The thing is, I have to complete this. It is currently 9:20 a.m. on Saturday, March 1st. I have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to complete this board. If I do not complete this board by the end of the day on Monday or by the time I go to bed, then I have to add one base spin to my wheel of TBR. If I do complete it, then I get to take one base spin off of my wheel. So I really want to try to help me in the future as much as possible. And today starts Spring in a Reading-a-thon, this is going to help give me like a jump start on getting my reading done. Also, this afternoon, I have live reading sprints with everybody. So I'm going to be going and doing that. So I need to figure out what my first book's going to be. Okay, I have Cedric here. It's going to go on the start. I have my die. Let's roll and see what we get. 1. Not a good way to start this out. I was actually showing my in-laws last night how I played this game, and I got 1, 1, 1. It was not good. Okay, so this is a horror or thriller. So I'm going to have to see what I have, and I'll let you know. Okay, so one of the books that I have to read for my Have I Read It is None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. This book right here. And this is a psychological thriller about two teenagers teaming up with the FBI to track down juvenile serial killers. So I have some things I need to do on my computer. I don't think I have hotels booked for a couple of cruises, like before and after cruises that I'm going on this month. So I need to do that, and I need to check on a few other things and get us checked in for our first cruise and all of that. Because Xander and I leave in 1 week to go on our next cruise. So I used one of my Audible credits to get None Shall Sleep on Audible. I'm going to listen to that while I take care of some computer-y stuff. And I'll come back and share my thoughts as we go. Okay, so I'm currently on chapter 8 of None Shall Sleep. We have essentially 2 main characters, Emma and Travis. This is like new adult. They're like 18 years old, and they've been recruited by the FBI to help interview teenage serial killers so that they can get information from them, because these teenage serial killers are not talking to the adults, the authorities, and they need somebody to come in. And so Emma is like studying behavioral sciences, and she's like top of her class. Travis is in the like U.S. Marshals training program, and they've both been affected by serial killers. So Emma was the only survivor of this one particular serial killer who is now dead, but she has sort of that inside knowledge of how things are. And Travis, his father was a U.S. Marshal and was stabbed and killed during the conflict with a serial killer. And so they both have like ties to this. And they've just interviewed their first one and it went fine. But now Cooper, the FBI agent that's kind of like in charge of this, he's kind of sprung on them that they're going to be interviewing Simon Gutmanson, who is the serial killer that ended up killing Travis's father. And Travis is not okay with this. But Emma is like, well, she's going to do it. She really wants Travis there with her. She's going to do it. But she also understands, he's not comfortable with this because of the connection with him. And that was not part of what they were originally told they were going to be doing. But I am enjoying the story so far. It's also set in like 1982, which is interesting. So I'm going to continue on. I haven't done anything as far as computer work yet. I just finished eating breakfast. So now I'm about to go upstairs and continue listening and do that computer stuff. Okay, so I'm about like 2/3, maybe even 3/4 of the way through this book. So Simon, the convicted serial killer that Emma's been talking with, has been giving some interesting insight, which is kind of helping with an active case. Now, Emma and Travis are not supposed to be doing anything with any active cases. They're supposed to be just working on cold cases alone. But there is currently a serial killer in Pennsylvania that is active. And Simon seems to have some insight on it. And Emma and Travis are kind of putting things together and actually helping with this active case. Though, again, that's a big no-no because they're not supposed to be. But they're getting more done than the regular FBI agents or the cops or anything like that. They're figuring out more things. And I am enjoying it. It's interesting. Also, I have about half an hour until my live reading sprint's finished. I imagine I will, let's see, at the speed that I'm listening to this, I've got about an hour and a half left, though we'll be pausing and talking for like during the sprints and stuff. So I imagine maybe after like the first sprint or the second, maybe in the second sprint, I'll be coming back down to roll again. Hopefully we can get some bigger rolls than one. And hopefully I can continue getting books that I need to read on this. I do know that this one is completing a couple of the prompts for Spring and Reading-a-thon, which is excellent because I need that. Okay, so I just finished None Shall Sleep, and I feel like I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars. There was a big part of it that I was really enjoying, but then we started getting the perspective of the active serial killer, and I think that's where my brain started having problems because this person went by many different identities. And so it was kind of started getting all jumbled up and confused in my head. And like towards the end, it kind of brought all those together. But by that point, my brain was all like, what, huh? Who's who, what? And so I did enjoy the book. I don't know if I would read it again, but I would continue the series because the way it left was, kind of led you to believe they're going to go back to working with the FBI and they're going to go back into cases like this. Though I have a feeling that, future ones might not have that same issue that this one did. So I feel like I might enjoy them more. So I will continue to give the series a chance. But now I have only 11 minutes until the sprint I'm in is over. So I need to go ahead and roll the dice and pick my next book. Okay, so let's roll and see what we get next. 2. Okay. We are not moving very quickly at all this round. So this is an adaptation. I don't know if I have any books on my TBR that's an adaptation, so I'm going to have to go see. Okay, so as I said, none of my books actually worked for this prompt that I had on my current TBR. So I did have to add one. It actually took me all the way up until time for my sprint to end before I found one. But I am going to be reading Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. According to Google, there was a movie adaptation. So this is what I'm going to be reading. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that long. This is 320 pages. And there's a fun little playlist, which is neat. Here's the playlist if you're interested. Anyway, I do not have an audiobook for this, so I'm going to be physically reading it. I feel like it'll be a quick read, though. I mean, I will be stopping because of sprints. But we're in a long sprint now, so I'm going to get to reading. Okay, so I'm about 50 pages into Reminders of Him. I'm currently on page 46. And what I know of this so far, our main character, her name's Kenna. She did something. I'm thinking maybe she was drunk driving or something like that. And her boyfriend, who was, I actually forgot his name already. He passed away and because of whatever she did. And she has spent 5 years in prison for this. And now she's out and she's gone back to the town where they met and everything. Also, she had a daughter, I'm guessing his daughter, while she was in prison. She never got to hold her or anything. The daughter has gone to live with his parents, and she's there in hopes of, I don't know, reconnecting with her daughter, with his family, whatever. And in her first night there, her first day there, and she's kind of walking around the town, she goes to this bookstore where, well, it used to be a bookstore and now it's a bar, and ends up kind of meeting this bartender there. They have an interesting meet, and there's some making out involved. And then she discovers that he is the best friend of her now dead boyfriend. And that's going to make things complicated. I'm enjoying it so far. I really like Colleen Hoover's writing. But I'm still in my sprints. I got about 5 minutes left of the sprints that I'm in. And then I'm probably going to end this and get to spending all my time on the book. And also eat some dinner because it's now nearly 6 p.m. So I will come and check back in with you later. Okay, so it is a little after midnight and I have gotten to page 236. I am very much enjoying this. It's, oh my goodness, they're in a really difficult situation here. I still don't know exactly what happened the night Scotty died. Scotty was the boyfriend. I think we're about to find that out. But Kenna went to jail, and now she's back. And the bartender best friend guy, his name's Ledger, he figured out, who she was. And the grandparents that have been raising Kenna and Scotty's daughter, they don't want her to be part of this kid's life. And they've now, gotten a restraining order against her and stuff. And Kenna just really wants to be part of, to even just see her daughter, because she didn't get that chance because her daughter was a preemie, and so she didn't get the 2 days that she was kind of told she would get. And she feels like, they're never going to forgive her, and they're never going to let her be part of Diem. Diem is the little girl, Diem's life. And Ledger, when he figured out who she was, he was instantly disgusted with her. He hated her. He wanted her to go away. But over time, he has very much changed his thoughts on her. And he had these opinions formed of her before. And he's seen that because he never met her before Scotty died. And he's seen that all of the thoughts that he originally had about her are wrong. And that she isn't, this unremorseful, uncaring person that he had pictured in his head. And she is this selfless, caring, loving person. And they've now, formed this relationship that they know is not a good idea. They've both been fighting it. But at the same time, they're, pulled to each other. But there's the fear that if Grace and Patrick, they're the grandparents, if they find out that he's been in contact, and even worse, with Kenna, then they're going to not let Ledger be in contact with Diem anymore. They'll cut him out of his life as well. And Kenna doesn't want that for her daughter either, because Ledger has been like a father figure. He's been like the uncle, and he cares deeply about Diem, and she wants that in Diem's life. And so she doesn't know what to do either. Like, he's the only person really that could fight for her and try to plead her case to them. But again, at the same time, they could cut him out as well. And she doesn't want that. So yeah, it's a very, very difficult situation. And I think we're now about to find out what happened. All I know is there was an accident. It was a car. And what they say happened was there was a car accident and she left and he wasn't dead. And if she had stayed and called 911 or whatever, Scotty could have lived, but instead he died on the side of the road like 5 hours after, and because she didn't want to get in trouble or whatever. We don't know yet if that's actually what happened, but that's what was said to have happened. So we're about to find out. It is after midnight. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be up. I don't know if I'll finish this tonight. I kind of want to keep reading, but I probably won't give you another update tonight. It'll probably be tomorrow morning. Good morning. So last night I continued with reminders of him. I kept trying to find a place where I was like okay to put the book down, and I just couldn't. So I ended up staying up until like 2:30 in the morning reading this book. I enjoyed it a lot. I can't really say anything else about what, towards the end because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say I did get a little teary-eyed at certain points. I'm going to give this one 4.5 stars. It was really, really good. It's a very difficult situation that they were in. But yeah, 4.5 stars. And now it's time for me to do another roll. I'm also getting a really late start today because I stayed up so late. I didn't get up until around 10:30 this morning. And oh my goodness, I woke up with such a headache and stuff. So I've been up for now about 45 minutes. It is 11:20. Oh my goodness. So last month I had a really, really good round of this. And actually, let me turn you towards the board. So last month, by this point in time, I was actually like way down here somewhere. So I was doing really, really well. This month, I'm still on this first line, which is concerning. So we really need some big rolls to advance here, to give me any kind of chance. So let's roll and see what we get. Oh my gosh. One, two. We still haven't left the first line. This is a book I think will make me cry. Well, that was just rude. I literally just dropped my head down when I saw that too. I thought it was going to be a bigger number. I'm concerned that this might be the first time I fail this game, because it is not looking good for me right now. Okay, so I need to find a book that I think will make me cry. This totally would have worked for that. I don't know what I have on my TBR that I need to read that's something that I feel like will make me cry. Okay, so I'm going to go and put this on my Spring Into Reading-a-thon bingo board. Mark off a few things that I think this could fill. And then see what I can come up with. Okay, so it took me a little while to find something. It's actually 11:45 now. But I decided to go with the Lonely Hearts Book Club by Lucy Gilmore. The title alone makes me think it's something that's going to end up making me sad. But also, on the back here it says, everybody has a reason to get lost inside a book. Sloane Parker lives in a small contained life as a librarian in her small contained town. She never thinks of herself as lonely, but still, she looks forward to that time every day when old curmudgeon Arthur McLaughlin comes to browse the shelves and cheerfully insult her. Their sparring is such a highlight of Sloane's day that when an author doesn't show up one morning, she's instantly concerned. And then another day passes, and another. Anxious Sloane tracks the old man down, only to discover him all but bedridden, and desperately struggling to hide how happy he is to see her. Wanting to bring more cheer to Arthur's gloomy life, Sloane creates an impromptu book club. Slowly, the lonely misfits of their sleepy town begin to find one another, and in their book club, they find the joy of unlikely friendship, because as it turns out, everyone has a special book in their heart and a reason to get lost and eventually found within the pages. And I think this is going to be an emotional book. Also, I was able to find it on Libby, and it's available, so I'm going to probably go back and forth between listening and reading, or maybe do the immersive and read, like physically read while I listen. Because when I do that, that's actually the fastest way I read. And I need to get through some things if I'm going to have any possible chance of completing this board. I'll be back and let you know my initial thoughts. Okay, so I am currently on page 48. I've gotten through the first 4 chapters, and I can definitely say this is probably one that, if a book's going to make me cry, this has a good chance. Our main character, the librarian, there's also her dealing with the loss of her sister. I don't know when it happened, but her sister has passed away, and something about her heart. And her parents constantly fight with each other. And yeah, she is a lonely person. She is engaged to a chiropractor, and his family is a lot. She's kind of a very quiet, timid, shy person. And Mr. McLaughlin, he is definitely curmudgeonly. The last time she sees him at the library, he's kind of shuffling around a little differently. Instead of the regular snappy banter, he seems more like legitimately angry and bleak, and he's crueler. And there's also like a little cough that she notices, and then when she realizes that he hasn't been there for a few days, she goes to her and her fiance go to his house. They don't actually go inside his house, but they're just outside of his house and witness the second nurse that he has had for in-home care leaving the house and what's going on. We don't know exactly what has happened to him just yet, but so far I am enjoying it. I'm doing the immersive reading right now, so I can speed up the audiobook because I'm like physically reading along. But here in just a little while, it's not like lunchtime and I'm about to have breakfast. I can turn the speed down and just listen to it while I'm eating. And Marty is home, so let me go. Okay, so I am on page 145. I've gotten through the first 14 chapters. We have a second perspective at this point. We have Maisie. Maisie lives across the street from Mr. McLaughlin, and I think her and Sloane are quickly becoming friends. She is also cooking and stuff for Mr. McLaughlin, and he's begrudgingly let her into his house. Also, she noticed that there was this man that kept parking in front of Mr. McLaughlin's house, and finally she confronts him, and it turns out it's Mr. McLaughlin's grandson, and he is very much like Mr. McLaughlin in the whole curmudgeon kind of attitude, but he's a little bit more of a gentle giant when it comes to everybody else. And Maisie has offered to let him stay in her daughter's room instead of some Airbnb too far away, so that he can spend more time with his grandfather. And Maisie's daughter, who is 16 years old, lives with her rock star dad and stepmother, and only sees Maisie like 1 week in a month. And now she's just come home and pretty much informed Maisie that they're moving to LA. And it's so sad. Like, their relationship is just really, really sad. And that actually made me feel like crying. The relationship between this mother and daughter, it's kind of heartbreaking. But at the same time, we're now like forming this book club with Mr. McLaughlin, sort of his grandson, Sloan, and Maisie. And because the hospital or whatever is requiring Mr. McLaughlin to have a registered nurse, they're going to pull in Mateo, who is another one of the librarians and is terrified of Mr. McLaughlin, but he's also a registered nurse but works at the library now instead. So they're hoping to pull him in to cover what's required. I'm enjoying it. This book is really sweet, really good. And yeah, there's a lot of emotional things, a lot of lonely people. And I think that's like the core of it. They're all just lonely people. So I'm going to keep reading and I'll be back. Okay. I just finished the Lonely Hearts Book Club. And yeah, it made me cry. This was so good. I'm giving this one 5 stars. This book is so freaking precious. We actually did get several other perspectives. We got Mateo's perspective, and Greg's, and even Arthur's, and it was so good. 5 stars, and it's got me a little weepy. So, I need to spin and see if we can actually make it somewhere on this board. And I need a book that's not going to make me cry. Okay. Well, at least we will make it to the second row this time. Let's see what we get. A 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So glad it's not 5. 6. Okay. That is middle grade. Okay, I think that I actually do have a middle grade on my TBR. I'm not 100% certain. I'm going to have to go look. And I'll be right back to let you know what I decide. Okay, so I actually didn't have any middle grade on my TBR, but I did find one. But before I tell you that, I thought I would update you on my Spring Into Reading board. So, Reminders of Him I was actually able to use for April showers. And I think I can also use that for wet t-shirt contests because there's at least smutty scenes in it. And then for the Lonely Hearts Book Club, the only thing, okay, well, my first thought was April showers, but I used Reminders of Him for that. The only other thing I can think of that I could use this for is Holly Festival of Colors, because there are a lot of colors on here. You get like the yellow, pink, a different color pink, orange, red. There's green, there's blue, black, white. So lots of colors. So I think I'm going to count that for that one. And I think that's... Oh, actually, I can also use Reminders of Him for March Madness because there's t-ball. A lot of t-ball in here. It's a sport. So across the top, I have 3 out of the 5. Going down this way, I have 3 out of 5. I think those are the closest I have. So for my middle grade, which I didn't have on my board already, I'm going to be reading Spark by Sarah Beth Durst. This was on my These Books Will Self-Destruct shelf. So if you haven't watched my Have I Read It special edition video, I'll link that up here. But I do have a massive amount of books that I need to read for that in order to, well, for them not to self-destruct. Anyway, this is one of them that's on there. I think this is the only middle grade I might have on there. No, I'm wrong. I have a couple of box sets as well. But I do have this one. And I actually have this on Audible as well, so I can get through this pretty quickly. It's not a long book either. It's like 305 pages. This says, the smallest flame can ignite a fire that changes the world. Storm beasts and their guardians create perfect weather every day, and Mina longs for a storm beast of her own. But when the shy, gentle girl bonds with a lightning beast, a creature of fire and chaos, everyone's certain it's a mistake. Everyone but Mina and the beast himself. Pixit. Quickly enrolled in lightning school, Mina struggles to master a guardian's skill, and she discovers that idyllic weather comes at a devastating cost. A cost powerful people wish to hide. Mina's never been the type to speak out, but someone has to tell the truth, and with Pixit's help, she resolves to find a way to be heard. So, this is what I'm going to read for middle grade, and that will give me another spot on the board. I don't know if it would work for anything else, except for New Life, but this is what I'm going to read. Okay, it's nearly 7 p.m. I'm almost about, I would say close to halfway, not quite there, in Spark. I'm on page 129. So, in this world, kids are given, like, 5 kids out of every generation or something like that, or not generation, but every year, I think, are given these eggs, and for the next 2 years they're supposed to like touch the egg skin to shell for like 3 hours a day, and there's like a mental connection formed, and eventually a storm beast will hatch, and it's the perfect match storm beast for the guardian that has it. And then when Mina's storm beast hatches, it is this gold or yellow dragony kind of one with the face of like a puppy dog. But her family's freaking out because they're like, you're not a lightning guardian. That's not your personality. You wouldn't fit. And they keep thinking there's something wrong, and they want to see if they can figure out a way to get it fixed. And it's like, no, we're bonded. Like, they immediately have this connection, and they can speak to each other. And the dragon is Pixit. And then the two get sent off to go to essentially like lightning school. And well, it's not quite working out because she is not your typical lightning guardian, and there's a lot of struggle. But with that, she's trying to figure out how to tweak things to fit for her personality. It kind of gives me a little bit of, if you were, middle grade version of like Fourth Wing, where our main character isn't quite the, typical dragon rider, and adjustments are, needed to be made for that. I think the same kind of thing is going on here. Adjustments are going to need to be made because she's not the typical lightning guardian. It's fine. I'm enjoying it. It's cute. But I'm going to continue on, and I'll probably check in with you once this is done. So it is 8:49 p.m. and I just finished Spark, and let's see, in the second half of this, we find out that where Mina lives, the Badlands, they've got this perfect weather all the time and all of this stuff because of these storm dragons. But just over the mountains in these other lands, they have these terrible storms because of what's happening in the Badlands, and people are dying, and Mina takes it upon herself to help right this wrong. And I enjoyed it. It was really cute. This is a standalone, so don't have to continue the series. I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars. I did enjoy it. And now I need to roll and see what my next book is going to be. Okay, so getting that 6 really did help make me get much further along. What else can help to get me quite a bit ahead and give me more of a chance of possibly winning this round? If I get a 2, means I just get to roll and move forward again. Or if I get to 4, I actually get to skip all the way to the end and be done. And a 5 wouldn't be bad either because that's just a graphic novel. So let's see what we get. Oh, can you see what that is? Move the hat. It's a 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I was wrong. 6. I was thinking this way, but no, it's this way. So this is an LGBTQ plus book. So I have to look and see what I have on my TBR for this. Okay, so I'm unfortunately not getting a lot of books that are on my current TBR, but I'm getting a lot of my other books read. So for this, I'm going with Fake Dates and Mooncakes by Cher Lee. And this says, love wasn't on the menu. Dylan Tang wants to win a mid-autumn festival mooncake competition in memory of his mom and to bring publicity to Wok Warriors, his aunt's struggling Chinese takeout in Brooklyn. Enter Theo Summers, charming, wealthy, with a smile that makes Dylan's stomach do backflips. When Theo makes a sizable donation to Wok Warriors, Dylan reluctantly agrees to be Theo's fake date at a family wedding in the Hamptons to return the favor. In Theo's glittering world of crazy rich drama, their romance is supposed to be for show, but Dylan finds himself falling for Theo for real. And with the mooncake contest looming, Dylan can't risk being distracted by rich people problems. Can Dylan save his family's business and follow his heart, or will he fail to do both? And this is pretty short. It looks like only 262 pages, so this should be a quick read. Also, a very floppy paperback. Love it. Also, there's a cute little corgi as well. It's adorable. Alright, so that's what I'm going to read for this. And I'm now, because of how far along on the board, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. Getting 2 6s in a row was so incredibly helpful. So helpful. Because I was worried how things were going yesterday. So, fingers crossed we keep up the good momentum. It is currently a little after 9 o'clock, so I don't know. I don't think I'll be finishing this tonight, but I will come back and give you an update. Good morning. So I didn't end up giving you an update last night. But this morning I finished Fake Dates and Mooncakes, and this was super cute, very sweet. I love a fake dating trope. That's like definitely one of my things. So in this, Dylan is trying to help save his aunt's business, and she's taking care of him over the past year and kind of like taking him as her own because Dylan's mother has passed away and the business is struggling. They're getting ready to be evicted, and one day Dylan has this delivery that he makes, and the guy that he delivers it to is awful, like awful, and threatens to like leave bad reviews and all of this other stuff. And his friend that's there with him is trying to like calm him down and make him stop. And then the next day, the friend, who is Theo, comes in and apologizes, and there is an instant connection between Dylan and Theo. And Theo wants to help Dylan, and so he kind of gets a small grant for Dylan's aunt's business, Wok Warriors. And Dylan's like, we can't accept this. But then Theo's like, okay, here's how you can repay me. If he didn't really need to repay him, but he was like, okay, so what you can do is I have to go to this event and I need a +1, or my family is going to try to set me up with everybody. So Dylan agrees, and it turns out it's this family wedding, and there's all kinds of drama. And Dylan has no idea what he's gotten himself into. But Theo has kind of invited him. Well, for one, Theo's going to this wedding as sort of a burn to his dad, because his aunt and his dad are like in this legal battle. And by showing up to that, it was like a slap to his dad. And then Theo's dad thinks that Dylan is just using Theo for money or status or whatever, and tries to cause all kinds of issues with him, with his aunt's business, all of that. And this was a lot of fun. I'm actually going to give this one 4 stars. And I think we actually maybe possibly have a good chance of completing this. I don't know. I have to finish it today. And I do have a doctor's appointment this afternoon. So fingers crossed we can actually get this done. So let me turn it to the board and see what we get next. Okay, so we're going this way. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to have to at least read one more book. We don't want to land here, which that would be 7. So that's not going to happen this time. If we can land here, then I can read a graphic novel, and that would give me a good chance. But I would still need 6 after that to be done. So let's just roll and see what we get. The only thing we don't want, well, that's going to be later, is that rewind, because that will make us go back. Oh, a 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a TBR vet. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go with I See You by Claire McIntosh. This is one of the Have I Read It books that I need to read. And I just went and looked and I couldn't find my copy. I don't know where it is. So I'm going to use one of my Audible credits to get this. But real quick, for my bingo board, I can use Fake Date and Mooncakes for Let It Shine, for Luck of the Irish, because, alright, so Let It Shine is a book that you think will make you happy, which I knew this would. Fake Dates, or Luck of the Irish is a book with green on the cover, and this whole cover's green. And Love is in the Air, which is to read a romance, and there's definitely romance. So that gets me 3 on this bingo. And I See You actually will cover Women's March. So the only thing I'll have to do is Tiny Umbrellas, which is drink my favorite iced beverage, to get that bingo. So I might actually complete a bingo during this. I don't know, we'll see. So this is a claustrophobic thriller, and our main character is Zoe. She's supposed to see, like, she sees this ad in a paper. I forget what it says about, like, have you seen her or whatever? And then these women that are being shown on this ad end up disappearing or murdered or something like that. And then she sees her own picture and she knows that she is going to be the next victim. And she's going to make sure she's not. Okay, so this is what I'm going to read. And I will come back and share my thoughts. Okay, so I'm not quite halfway through I See You, and let's see, up to this point we have Zoe, who sees herself, this is before she sees the others, sees herself, a picture of herself in a classified section where like escort services and stuff like that, or like call numbers, like 900 numbers and stuff are, and it's her picture. And it says findtheone.com and a phone number. When they call the number, because they're like, why is this on here? You know, and they call the number, it's not a number in service. And when they go to the website, it's just a blank page with like somewhere to put something like a password or whatever. And there's like this news thing about this woman having her keys stolen on the subway. And just like a little side article about like crime on the subway. And she happens to notice that the woman whose keys were stolen was also somebody that was in one of these advertisements. And so she contacts this police lady and says, hey, I recognize this person, and this, I don't know if this is connected or not. And that woman, Kathy, who had her keys stolen, she doesn't have any proof, but she feels like somebody's been in her house. and rummaged through her laundry. And now there is another woman, and she shows up murdered in the park, and she was in an advertisement just 24 hours before. And Zoe's freaking out because she's like, what if something bad's gonna happen to me? What if I'm next? She keeps imagining her daughter being, in one of these advertisements, and she doesn't know what's going on. And at the point I stopped, there's just been this interesting twist about Zoe's husband. She went to call him. They're saying there's nobody on the staff with that name, and she's like, he's worked there for years. And they're like, we don't have anybody by that name. So I'm curious where it's going. Oh, this is also set in London. Seems very, very British. But it's okay. I'm not like fully engrossed in it at this point. I've been listening to it and working on my diamond painting. And I got myself ready to go to my appointment. And I'm going to be leaving for that in about an hour. I'm probably going to grab me some lunch before then. So that's my little update. Okay, so it is almost 6 p.m. and I just finished ICU. And this took a couple of interesting twists that I didn't quite see coming. Yeah. One in particular towards the very, very end that actually raised my rating. For the most part, I was thinking this was going to be a 3-star because I was kind of bored a lot of the time until the second half, picked up more. So because of the interesting things towards the end, I have to say I'm going to give it a 3.5. I did enjoy it though. And now, oh my goodness, those couple of 6s in the rolls drastically helped. Oh, also, with the exception of my tiny umbrellas, I've got a bingo. So yay, because that worked for Women's March. But yeah, those few 6s really, really helped catch me up. And now there's only one bad spin I could get. Yeah, only one number. So let's look at the board. Okay, so the only bad spin I could get is a 1 because this is rewind, which means I'd have to roll and go backwards. I do not want a 1. A 2, it would be a mood read, and 3 or higher means I'm done and I win. I really thought this was going to be the one where I lost. So I stand a good chance as long as I don't get a 1. So let's roll. Ooh, yay! I win. Awesome. I seriously thought this was going to be the round that I didn't succeed because of how the first day went. But so many 6s saved it. Oh my goodness. It was a little stressful. I'm not going to lie. It was a little stressful. And I was worried too because I wasn't getting a lot of things that were on my actual TBR that I needed to read. But I'm glad that it kind of turned around. So yay, I won. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.